The national security law has been enacted in Hong Kong for 1 year. Together with the newly introduced electoral systems to be implemented later this year, the turmoil and the associated threat of national security due to the 2019 riots have finally come to an end. 4 months ago, I was speaking at the same occasion here, at a side event in relation to the United Nations Human Rights Council meeting. I argued that the rule of law and independence of the judiciary remained unchanged under the national security law, as already suggested by the former Chief Justice Geoffrey Ma. Human rights were well protected, and the restoration of law and order enabled Hong Kong people to return to their normal lives, free from violence, threat, and bullying. Today, these arguments still stand. First of all judges of national security law are existing Hong Kong judges, and according to Article 89 of the Basic Law, they may only be removed for inability to discharge their duties or for misbehavior. That means they could not be fired due to unpopular judgments. And in the past year, we have seen all judges remain independent in the adjudication of cases. Take the example of bail application of defendants. While Article 42 of the law set a rather high threshold of bail, stating that no bail should be granted unless the judge has sufficient grounds for believing that defendants will not continue to commit acts endangering national security. However, recently there have been cases for granting bail for some defendants by the judges. This illustrates the independence of our judges. In the last week or so, Western media were covering extensively the closure of Apple Daily and said it represented the infringement or even the demise of press freedom in Hong Kong. First of all, Hong Kong government had never ordered the closure of any media, including Apple Daily. The Hong Kong police arrested several directors and chief editors of the newspaper for national security offenses. Some assets of the company and associated businesses were frozen according to the law. The board of the newspaper decided to terminate the business last Thursday, without any governmental interference at all. But make no mistakes, Apple Daily was not and has not been a proper and decent media in Hong Kong since its establishment in 1995. That's why many Hong Kong people were celebrating, not mourning, its demise in the past week. First, Apple Daily insulted women and promoted illegal behavior, including prostitution. As a tabloid, Apple Daily has gone far beyond The Sun in the United Kingdom, which carried naked women in its famous page 3. In its early years of publication, Apple Daily included pages of experience sharing and even manuals for patronizing prostitutes. And it was widely known that companies, schools, or any decent organizations had to remove these indecent pages before displaying it at public areas. Second, Apple Daily observes no moral boundaries nor bottom line when it comes to profit making. It paid a man in Hong Kong to seek out prostitutes and pose for photographs after his wife murdered their children and committed suicide. The newspaper's making of fake news and what we called checkbook journalism tarnished its reputation and credibility. This has indeed become a classic case of indecent journalism taught in local university courses. Third, Apple Daily is the mass producer of fake news in Hong Kong. Fake news is a powerful weapon to incite people's hatred to both Hong Kong and central governments, and achieved the purpose of endangering national security in 2019. There are numerous examples which Western media would not forget. The broken-eyed lady at the riot scene had proved not to be injured by police weapons. The so-called murder at the Prince Edward Underground Station, or even the rape cases within police stations, were all proved to be plain lies. Who has been propagating these fake news, which fueled the violent riots in 2019? The answer is Apple Daily. Fourth, Apple Daily is interfering with politics, even in the US. Since 2003, Apple Daily has been distributing protest banners for free along with its paper, attacking the government and leaders of both mainland China and Hong Kong. So would any decent media in the West, such as New York Times or Financial Times, conduct these acts and jeopardizing their own integrity and independence? Apple Daily was even deeply embroiled in US politics. In order to support Donald Trump's campaign, Mark Simon, the top aide of Jimmy Lai and the former CIA staff, paid for a report compiled under a fake persona, which was used to discredit Hunter Biden, the son of presidential candidate Joe Biden, ahead of the election. This kind of smear tactics and campaigns look so familiar in Hong Kong, which plays such an important role in the quarter-century history of Apple Daily. So we must ask, would any decent Western media, say Wall Street Journal or Time magazine, condone such behavior? Therefore, it was no surprise to Hong Kong people that this paper, which called for foreign countries to launch harmful international sanctions against our country and our city, supporting Hong Kong independence and becoming the lead fake news machine for political purposes, was accused of offenses endangering national security in Hong Kong. National security law has brought law and order, hope and confidence back to this Asia's royal city. Our lawyers and judges are independent and professional. Our government, which respects rule of law and our common law tradition, would never exert pressure on any barristers to withdraw any cases, as in the case of British Foreign Minister Dominic Raab. In January this year, Mr. Raab openly criticized Mr. David Perry, a British QC, to lead the prosecution of Jimmy Lai, which is the boss of Apple Daily, as we all know. And Mr. David Perry had to decline the job under tremendous pressure. Such governmental interference of a barrister's involvement in a court case is totally unacceptable in common law jurisdictions like Hong Kong. Recently, Western countries, including British government, have been accusing China of violating Sino-British Joint Declaration. Unfortunately, they have never indicated which clause was violated. In fact, Chinese government has fulfilled all its obligations in 1997, and universal suffrage, as the final goal of our political system, was mentioned in the Basic Law, not the Joint Declaration. Today is July 1st, which has triple meaning for Hong Kong. Besides the anniversary of the National Security Law, it also marked the 24th anniversary of Hong Kong's reunification to the country, and also the centenary celebration of the Communist Party of China. Hong Kong people are confident that despite all sorts of unsubstantiated accusations from some Western countries, one country, two systems remain the best political arrangements for Hong Kong and also China, and it will continue to bring prosperity and stability to this city. Thank you.